My name is Andy Lewington. I'm taking part in a level 2 counselling course, and this is my video evidence. In the room with me is Rebecca, who's going to talk about a subject that's on her mind. Are you happy to be your voice to be recorded, Rebecca?
Yes.
Are you comfortable with the layout of the room?
Yes.
Okay, please continue. What would you like to talk about?
So I feel lately, for the last few months, but especially since the 31st of December, quite anxious about my dog, and this is because of the XL bully ban that's come in. My dog is not an XL bully at all, but because he is a wildly mixed breed, he looks big and powerful, and because of the ambiguity around the law itself about what can be determined as an XL bully, I've got real concerns about just the way that people look at him now, and are they thinking, is he an XL bully? Is he going to end up being reported? Am I going to end up losing my dog when he's not of that breed? And you can see it in other people that, you know, that people have got quite large staffies, that the similarities, and when people look at their dogs, that they have a bit of a defensive mode. And I've started feeling that myself, like when I'm walking my dog now, you see people looking, and your mind instantly just goes to, they think my dog's an XL bully, they're going to take my dog away. And they might just be looking at him going, wow, that's a really handsome dog, I wonder what it is. And that's what people used to do before. People always used to look at him as if to question, oh, what is he? But now, because it's all over the news, it's just put this massive anxiety that something's going to happen, I'm going to have my dog taken away.
So, if summarise that, it is what you feel people are thinking due to the press attraction of the XL bully and how they're not fit to be in society.
Yeah.
Is there any examples where you've seen this happen?
So just when you're out walking about, people will put their dog on if they're walking their dog, they'll put their dog on a lead. You know, it could be like a really yappy little dog that actually, if anything, they'd be the ones that are exhibiting the aggressive behaviour. But they see Pluto and they just put their dog on a lead or cross the road. Or people, if they've got their kids, they just actively avoid you. And there's nothing in the demeanour of my dog that gives off any kind of aggression. He's always waggy-tailed and happy-looking. And now, I have seen a couple of times when I've been walking him, someone on the other side of the road, that they're sort of looking over and they've got a kind of look on their face like, what is he? And maybe they always did. But now, because of what's in the news, you just assume they're looking at it and going, is that a bully? Why isn't it muzzled? And especially now that the ban is in place and dogs are meant to be muzzled and on lead in public, when obviously my dog isn't, because he's exempt, he's not that breed. You can see people looking and you just instantly I'm sure a lot of it is my own anxiety, that I'm just assuming that's what they think. But it has put a real fear in me that one day I'm going to get a knock on the door, and it'll be the police saying, well, we think your dog might be, and they've got the power to just take him away. And that's really frightening.
Yeah, I mean, you're quite right. It's okay to feel like that. Obviously, it's your dog, and you don't want the fear of having him taken away from you because you love him unconditionally. Have you thought about approaching these people when they put their dog on a lead, like talking to them?
No, because I think a lot of it is ignorance. I mean, yesterday I was walking at Pluto and came across someone, and their dog, I think, was a cane corso, and it's a massive. It's clearly a puppy because it's still it's not broad yet, it's not filled out yet, but it was out of control, and the owner was struggling to keep it under control. And they don't engage with you. They're not engaging at all. Like, oh, you know, sorry about that or whatever. These people just put the dog on a lead, or worse, they pick the dog up, and just walk off. And it is a lot of ignorance. I feel at the time it makes me feel angry, And I feel like if I was to engage, I'd probably end up like saying something that wouldn't be terribly constructive, like, "Oh, how pathetic," or something like that. And I'm not sure what's the best way to engage with people. And it may well be that they're just not, they're not thinking that at all. So you don't want to come off as aggressive and argumentative and be like, "Oh, what's your problem? What are you looking at?" kind of thing. I'm not sure what the best way is to engage with people.
Yeah, obviously your feelings are really important on this. Other people you have no control over. You only have control over yourself. When out walking a dog next time, have a positive thought about it, or maybe they're looking because they're scared of their own dog. It's important that you as a person explain to me your feelings you've got. Is there anything before that's given you a fear about this, about losing a dog? Was it just depressed?
I think it's because I've lost a dog through dying, and now I have Pluto, and he's my everything, and he's such a massive support. That I think I don't know what I would do without him. I feel like he's always really well controlled. I think he's a really good dog. I think it comes from having lost a previous dog. And that gap, there's just a general fear of something happening to him and not having him anymore.
Okay. You happy to continue? Okay. When walking Pluto next, think the positive thoughts. Obviously, members of the public will interact differently with you, but don't think of the negative, think of the positive.
Yeah. And
that will transcend down the lead as well to the dog.
I'm hopeful that as time goes on, the dust settles, that these feelings will lessen. It's just because it's so in the press, it's so heightened, and also I just feel so devastated for all those owners of the actual dogs that have done nothing wrong, that they're being villainised, and that to me it's this massive injustice that someone could just look at a dog and say, well, they don't belong and they should be destroyed, and that's just, then there's no evidence that those dogs have done nothing wrong. You wouldn't do it to people. You wouldn't look at a whole group of people and say, they don't belong, let's put them all down. And yeah, I just feel so devastated and heartbroken for those owners that what they're going through. And I just don't want to be one of those when he isn't even. He doesn't look like one, but because he doesn't look like a breed that you could pigeonhole and say, oh, he's definitely that, people do look at him, try to work out what he is.
Yeah, okay, well, I understand your feelings. Obviously, no one wants to lose a pet. What I wanted to do in the next week or so, when you're taking Pluto out, when you feel that, and this is a bit of homework for you, to see how you get on. So obviously, to summarise what you're feeling that he's going to be taken away from you, that someone's going to complain, or the police are going to turn up the door thinking he's a bad dog, when obviously by listening to you, he isn't. So when you've got that person who moves away, say, he's a very playful dog, do you want your dog to play with him? Say it puts that on them and their dog's attitude. Be that positive person, because that will go down the lead with the dog. But also, what I want you to do before next time I see you is read up on what the legal idea behind it is, what the police are allowed to do, and what are your rights to stop them from doing that. So that may relieve some of your anxieties about losing a dog to just police turning up. So I don't believe they're legally allowed to do that. Can you do that for me?
Yeah, I can do that.
Are you right for me to use this video as part of my training?
Yeah.
It'll be just shared with the person who's marking my course.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Right. Thank you very much for your time.